What's going on, everybody? Brendan here at Dad Planet. Welcome back to the One Man Show. We are going to the bins. It is Christmas in July, celebrating with my buddy Pikachu here, but I'm taking you along for the ride with me. And I always like filming when I'm at the Goodwill bins because I always end up finding amazing stuff. This visit, no exception. And I'm trying to motivate you to get your behind back out to the bins if you haven't been in a while, or especially if you haven't been there at all and it's your first trip. Always an adventure. You really never know what you're going to end up finding, but I love the items that I found. And I'll show you something that I kind of dug up on the side of the road. Super free bolo for me, amazing find. And we'll talk about another one at the end. So let's get into it. All right, let's get our retail therapy in. So I'm going to head into the bins. A couple of things that I'm going to be looking for here. Very loosely, I'll be looking for coats and jackets. We're not quite there just yet. But if you look at a 90-day window, that puts us at September. That's coat buying season. So I'm going to look for coats. I'm definitely looking for backpacks because we are going to be hitting back to school very shortly. And then, of course, all things Halloween. I'm hitting Halloween hard. You have heard me say that before. Anything Halloween related that I think I can flip, I'm going to be picking up. So let's take a look and dig in and see if we can find anything worth reselling here. It's an Ohio State physical therapy shirt. It's a local thing. No value there. It's a college football shirt there. Nothing as well. So I should have picked up this Colt. I think it's Colt 45. That may have had some value, but I passed it up. I'm glad I saw this. The brand of this shirt here, and you can tell it's sort of like a Hawaiian shirt. It's like maybe rayon, nylon, is Iolani. Now, this is a new to me brand. The timing is right because we're right in the middle of summer here. This was a really cool find. I believe this shirt is from the 50s and 60s, and I see a comp from Liberty House, which I believe is the same brand as Iolani, for a shirt exactly like this that sold for $60. So that's probably where I'm going to list this at, $60 or $70. But I can tell you some of these Iolani Hawaiian shirts go for over $100. So that was a wonderful way to start the trip off. But please pay attention to that brand. That looks like it will get you a pretty penny if you end up finding it. And I'm lucky to see an exact comp on that shirt because I see a lot of their Hawaiian shirts are sort of different. There's lots of varieties and whatnot too. I didn't know what this was, this ghoul shirt. I remember looking it up at the time, and it's on a Fruit of the Loom tag. It's long sleeve. I probably could have picked this up and flipped it, but I remember seeing comps, I think, in like the $9 or $10 range. So I just passed on that as it didn't really strike me as something that was worth picking up even for cheap. So at $10, I'm not really interested. 15 to 20, maybe I'll pay a little bit more attention. So moving on here, and here is a very good brand, Mountain Hardwear, when we're talking about jackets. So we're in July, but like I said, we are going to be in September before you know it. And this is a quality brand. This jacket feels like it's high quality, and it was in excellent condition. I think the style on this one is called Conduit. It is a men's medium. It's sort of an olive green and black. And sure enough, there's good comps even in the last 90 days for Mountain Hardwear jackets. So all of the zippers work, no holes in the pockets, anything like that. In fact, no stains on the front or the back. So I'm going to list this now, and I'm going to put a price tag of $60 on it. I saw some sold comps that were selling in the $60 range, so probably an appropriate price that someone will end up paying in the next 90 days. So that was another awesome find too. Really pretty satisfied with both of those to start the trip. This drift jacket, it looked vintage, like maybe like a bowling jacket. I passed it up. It's one of those things too where I couldn't really find any comps on that brand, and so it struck me as generic, but it also could have been vintage and just old and hard to find. So don't quote me on if that was a bad pass or not, because I'm not entirely sure. Danskin you can pretty much always pass on if you ask me. And you'll see here I grabbed this like really thin satiny windbreaker. I think there's some people that would have picked this up, but I passed on it. It was just too thin, and I think that embroidery was local on it, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's an automatic pass, but it just that wasn't for me for whatever reason. So just went ahead and left that behind, and we're gonna keep on digging. I got here Old Navy. There's so much Gap in Old Navy in these places. I got lucky here. I found a couple of brands, and you can see a Halloween shirt here that I really love. So first one is Vineyard Vines. Actually, which one am I going to pick up here? Yeah, Vineyard Vines, little witchy girl inside the whale, beautiful Halloween scene. And then the next shirt is Patagonia. This Patagonia is a Fitzroy Horizons Responsibility. I think these are both going to be listed. I'm going to list and they're extra small. They're like men's, they're like adult extra small. So it's a difficult size, at least a little bit of a slower size to sell. But Vineyard Vines, we'll put 22 on that one. The Patagonia is probably around $25, $26. They sell that Horizon shirt brand new on their website right now. They have that exact color and that exact size for $35 before shipping. So I'm going to put 25 on mine, and we'll hope eventually that it sells. Again, extra small. That size sells a little bit slower than the rest of them. Here we go with the Gap again. See so much Gap and so much Old Navy of these bins. But it is what it is, so keep on moving. And I'm surprised. Here I'm looking at backpacks again because back to school is going to be coming up. But for whatever reason, Rugrats, the items that I find, and not necessarily the figures, but backpacks, some of the clothing items, the comparables are not really good. And I would expect Rugrats to sell better because that was a really beloved show. But for whatever reason, my experience tells me that it just doesn't sell as fast as a general rule than some of the other shows from Nickelodeon do. Just my observation. Your mileage may vary. This hat was interesting. I love picking up vintage hats for cheap at the bins, but the brand on this is American Girl. So, and it's child size, and it's floral, very pretty. American Girl gear, Pleasant Company. You can see on the tag right there. This is probably from the 90s, this hat. Pretty hat, and I don't think I'm going to get more than $10 to $15 for it. It was very hard to find any comparables on that hat as well. But I'm a sucker for a good brand, and American Girl certainly fits that bill. So we're going to take that one home because it's super light, and I obviously want to continue to grow my hat inventory, which has been growing nicely with a lot of great vintage options. So we're doing pretty well. Let's go in here to the end to see if I can find anything else before we head back. I haven't been picking up much hard goods at the bins lately. I feel like they just haven't been rotating enough quality items out, and my time has been better spent in the clothing areas, especially when I'm trying to bulk up my inventory. So I'm actually working less this year, but my inventory count continues to grow. I'm just at over 1,300 listings, and I'd like to get to 1,400 before the month of July is over. So that is fantastic. But here's the find of the day right here. This is a Deftones, this is a Holy Grail t-shirt from back in the mid to late 90s. You can see it is on a vintage giant tag, size large, wheelhouse size. It is not a single stitch t-shirt, but there are 2 comps on this shirt in the last year. So you had to go to Terapeak because no sales in the last 90 days for it. But both sold for around the $125 range. And so that's exactly what that shirt is going to be listed at, $125. Deftones is still making music. A lot of those early 90s nu metal bands, if that's what you want to call it, are still putting out music. A lot of them are still relevant. The Deftones are certainly no exception there. So that was an amazing find. And that's actually the second band t-shirt. If you guys remember, I've sourced that Poison baseball raglan shirt. Second one I found there for over $100 in the last month. So I just continue to get extremely lucky, and I'm very fortunate that the bins keep pumping out amazing vintage clothing and just all of the stuff that they're putting out in general. So I made it a very quick trip here. I only ended up spending $7.56, but on just those bolos alone, I stand to make, well, not make, but my listed value is going to be $2.95. Found this out on the curb on trash day. Now don't get excited. There's nothing on the inside of the box other than 4 additional empty boxes. But Lego boxes, especially from the Star Wars franchise, can get you some pretty good money. So I am, and this is the Imperial Star Destroyer, I'm gonna list this for 40 bucks, and then I'm also going to charge shipping, which is probably going to be, you know, anywhere between 20 and 30. Recent comps say that this will get me $40 to $50, but I thought that was amazing because you don't really see something like that, at least I don't in my experience in my area, just sitting on the curb waiting to be thrown away. So somebody got a really beautiful gift, and I stand to make $40 from this. If you shop at the bins, sometimes you will see Legos, but oftentimes, or more often than not, you will see manuals, not necessarily boxes. Bolo Buddies was recently at the bins and found a bunch of manuals. She's been selling some of those off, so continue to look for manuals for sure. Lucky find here on this box. In one of my next haul videos, it was a retail store purchase. I think I found another polo shirt, Bolo brand, that you'll want to keep your eye out for. It's something that I don't think a lot of people are aware of, so I'm excited to show you that coming up here soon. So thank you so much for tuning in. Brendan here, Dad Planet, the one-man show. Hit that like button if you liked what you saw or you learned something today, and then always consider becoming a member of the Dad Planet family by subscribing and hitting the bell notification icon so that you know every single time I upload a video to YouTube. But that's all I have for you. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.